This is number 100, chapter 1. The question reads that the total U.S. farmland occupies 954 million acres. How many square miles is this? And they give us a couple of conversions. They say that 1 acre is equal to 43,560 square feet. And they also tell us that 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. So using those two conversions, the acres and the miles, we should be able to get from this value of acres, and we should be able to convert it into miles. Now, square miles. So we have to look at what we have. We're beginning with acres, so that means that we would have to use acres and somehow convert it into feet squared. And then once we got into feet squared, we're going to have to get that into miles squared. And so there's a very important part of this I want to emphasize is when we get there, but we can still just use straight up dimensional analysis to solve this type of problem. And so if we begin, we have 954 million acres. And I know, or hopefully we know, that there should be 6 zeros after that, but we can still just use the dimensional analysis to do the conversion, right? Because a million acres is 1 times 10 to the 6th acres. And so we get out a million acres, and now we're just in straight up acres. Now that we're in acres, we can get into feet squared using our conversion. There's 43,560 feet squared for every 1 acre. So now we've gotten out of millions of acres, we've gotten out of acres, and now we're actually in feet squared. Now we want to get into miles squared. And so using our conversion above, we see that, well, for every 5,280 feet, that is 1 mile. Now, if we do this math as shown here, we will get the wrong answer. The reason why we will get the wrong answer is because notice that our value here in the numerator is feet squared, but our conversion is in terms of just feet. So we need to have this feet squared. Now, we don't just square or put the 2 right there. We actually have to square the conversion. We have to square the entire process. The 1 over 5280, that needs to be squared in order to convert the conversion from 1 mile per 5280 feet into miles squared per feet squared. And so now these guys would cancel out as a result of the square. Notice I have it outside of the parentheses. And so when we solve that, we get a value of 1.491 times 10 to the 6th miles squared. So a really common mistake for students is not to square the conversion. They forget that these units have to match in order for them to cancel out. So don't forget that. The question goes on to read, if the total U.S. land is equal to 3.5 1.537 million square miles, what is the percentage that is farmland? And so this is a straight up percentage. It's not too difficult. We take what we calculated above, the 1.491 times 10 to the 6th miles squared, and then I'm just going to do the conversion very quickly here. We have 3.537 million, so that would be 3.537 times 10 to the 6th miles squared for the denominator, the total U.S. land, and then we want to multiply that by 100 to get it into a percentage, and the final answer is 42.1% of the U.S. land is actually farmland.